Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the astonishing accomplishment of Echohawk. Um, this entity, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, over on, apologies if I misgender, I'm assuming this is a man, only because it's extremely rare for there to be incredibly high, detailed, granular graphic data about, specifically about old D&D. And it's a woman. And the reason why is I've been looking for a long time for a woman who covers Dungeons and Dragons history. And the reason why is Lorraine Williams. Lorraine Williams has been castigated by any number of middle-aged men who really are upset that a woman was queen of Dungeons and Dragons for 11 years. And we wouldn't have that problem, and we wouldn't have a ton of incredibly revisionist history that's been, including, in my opinion, by Ben Riggs, that's been written by Lorraine Williams. He begged her to, like he said flat out, he begged her to talk to him. And she had been mistreated by so many of the same attributed writer that have every attribute of Ben Riggs, that she's like, I'm not going to talk to you. I've done this again and again and again. I talk to you guys, and then you're like, and then you just paint me as a monster, right? Like, yeah. So I'd be very surprised if Echohawk is a woman, but I wish I wish I was wrong there. I wish there was just a ton of women who have done a bunch of super granular charts about D&D's history that were women. There just aren't. They're like, it does not exist. And man, oh man, if I'm wrong, please prove me wrong. I would be thrilled to find this bevy of women who have covered, have done analytics about D&D's history, because we desperately need it. We need somebody to at least have a chance at treating Lorraine Williams with even just a fraction of human decency, right? Like, and not just the same misogynistic tripe that's been printed 50 times about Lorraine Williams. It's terrible. All right, I'm sorry. Let me stay focused. All right, here we go. So, all right. So Echohawk brings forward this material, right? And what I want to talk about today is I want to just start breaking down the incredible data that Echohawk has brought forward. So let's look at original Dungeons and Dragons. So Echohawk has looked at the data of the page count, the number of products, and the cost of Dungeons and Dragons over the years by edition, by setting, and by magazine. Okay? And so what we're going to do today is I want to look at the first of the settings. And the first of the settings is original Dungeons and Dragons. Let's just look at the numbers together, okay? So original Dungeons and Dragons. This is the first. Actually, you can't say first edition because then you're actually saying 1E in your mind. Original Dungeons and Dragons. How many products are there? 16 products. What's the page count? 518 pages. How much would those 16 products have cost you to buy at the time? $68. Good Lord. Man, oh man, do I wish I had invested that $68 right now. There are 16 products. I would bet you, you could not buy a single one of those products today for $68 in pristine condition. I bet that every single one of those 16 products is 10x of that value now, right? Like, and I can tell you also right now, there are literally thousands of people trying to buy them. I go to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, and they have a pretty high number of grognards that go there. But they have they have a great mix of people. But they do have some grognards there, and they are all doing everything they can to scoop up every piece of this, of this Dungeons and Dragons historical material. They are really working hard to scoop it up, keep it, do it, right? Definitely a thing. So let's talk about original Dungeons and Dragons. So we've talked about Echohawk's numbers. Well, Scott, you're just presenting his data again? Yes, I am signal boosting this. If you have not read these articles, check out the link below. Go and read every single one of them in detail. This is, I think, the finest job anybody's ever done at this attempt to count products, count numbers, and chart those over time. It's literally the best. So you're like, well, Scott, you got a lot of complaints about it. I do, but like it's just like I complain because I care. I definitely wanted some improvements on this, but still, it's the best there currently is. And if you are even remotely serious about Dungeons and Dragons, and if you're not, what the heck are you doing on my channel? Then you definitely need to read every single one of these articles cover to cover. They really are spectacular. So first of all, I find those numbers fascinating, right? Like that original Dungeons and Dragons had 16 products, 518 pages, and they cost $68. I want to talk about the perception of original Dungeons and Dragons. What has the community said about original Dungeons and Dragons? Well, let me tell you. So here's what they said. I said this was a hot mess, an incredible hot mess, like just a really bad hot mess. And it was organized terribly. It was written terribly. The art was absolutely terrible. And you know what? It captured the heart of literally the entire tabletop gaming community. This was the hottest thing that it gut punched wargaming. Wargaming didn't even know what hit it, right? Like, and honestly, I will tell you, I don't think wargaming has ever recovered, right? Like, I think Dungeons and Dragons, like, people are like, Warhammer? And I think Warhammer might even make more money than Dungeons and Dragons, but just doesn't have the street cred Dungeons and Dragons has, right? And so, it really devastated wargaming, and it devastated. Now, it also devastated board games, but board games have absolutely recovered, and board games are definitely a larger tabletop gaming footprint that Dungeons and Dragons is today. It's $1 billion industry every single year without exception. And we don't really know what is the footprint of Dungeons and Dragons commercially. We have no idea. Those numbers, because they're mixed in with a bunch of other numbers and blah blah blah, right? So it was a hot mess. Like it was not extremely well executed, but people could see the potential of the ideas contained. People understood that what Gary Gygax had created and presented was absolutely peerless for innovation. They were like, this is going to be huge. And they could tell that, and they were absolutely right. And you know what's really interesting is Magic the Gathering now has completely mixed its history with Dungeons and Dragons history. And you know what's really fascinating? What's really fascinating is that Magic the Gathering was the same thing. I literally sat in a FLGS the day Magic the Gathering arrived in Lancaster. One dude opened up the packs and started looking at them and started building a deck, and every single person in that FLGS got out of their seat and was crowded around that table saying, what the heck are we looking at? Within days, that weekend, me and a bunch of other guys went to Philadelphia, hit every single friendly local game shop we could, and bought every single pack we could find. And we were able to, and kept most of them for ourselves and gave them to our friends, right? And we did that for months, right? Like we weren't even getting all the volume they had in Philly, right? But it was like, you could not, like, it just grew so fast, and the community knew immediately this is going to be huge. And it was the same thing with original Dungeons and Dragons. What was my personal experience with original Dungeons and Dragons? Well, that's a little sad. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I was born in 1970. In 1974, when Gary Gygax released it to the world, I was unaware of it. I didn't know what was happening. I learned about it in 1979. And it took me 3 years to fully get my hands on it. And so original Dungeons and Dragons, those 16 products that came out, I never saw them. Like, I didn't come in until the edition right after original Dungeons and Dragons. So I never saw these on shelves. I never really experienced these, and I never played these. They were a little before my time. I was on planet Earth while they existed. They were here. I've been able to see every day of Dungeons and Dragons by being on Earth, but I haven't been able to see it directly, right? And this was kind of an invisible edition to me. I was aware, and I was actually interacting with every single edition after this, but this one was really off my radar. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.